That's right. Welcome back to a spring ball competition heats up in the middle of winter. I don't know what to say anymore. We went from 85 degrees to 35 degrees. It's snowing here. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but we're getting snow. Oh, I'm not going to complain. I mean, you live where you live. You get what you get. So what I avoid in hurricanes and earthquakes, I make up for with this kind of stuff. Welcome in, everybody. I'm just telling you, beautiful topic today, and the chat is already right on this. This is days like this are where I'm excited to have a show like this, where I could throw something out there and get a wide range of opinions. When I say a wide range of opinions, I mean a wide range. I put out a video yesterday about the quarterback competition and them saying it's alive and well. And the emails and the direct messages and everything I've gotten are all over the board. All over the board. And I knew they would be. That's why I wanted to do this kind of show to kind of talk through some of this stuff. Some of the early comments are really good. Some of these early comments are really, really good. So what I wanted to do today is, it's blue and gold week. So anything on previewing blue and gold, open phone lines open for you. 312-900-8815. We can already get into what you want to see in the blue and gold game, what'll give you some comfort going into the summer that you could see to alleviate some worries you have. I want to get into some of that. But I'm going over this quarterback thing because I find it very, very interesting. And I'm going to go over the different avenues and ways of thinking and strands of thinking, and then go over where I think some of them might carry weight and some of them where they might fall short. So that's kind of where I want to go today. And it looks like people are kind of on this pretty heavy. So that'll be great. So thanks for being here. Obviously, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up. Helps in the algorithm. Notifications on, and you and I both know why. That way, you're alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search for Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. Call-in line. 312-900-8815. Tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Fighting Irish Wire every day. Type it in your computer. Read articles about Notre Dame from yours truly and others. I got a few things that are scheduled to post this week, previewing the blue and gold game, and go take a look at that as well. Dr. John, don't do this to me. Looking at the South Bend weather, don't send money for my flight. Come on, man. Don't do this to me, John. All I asked for was decent weather next week. It doesn't have to be 85 and sunny like I'm in South Beach. Can I just not have a blizzard? Unbelievable. Just give me a break. The one thing I asked for next week to have a tailgate party is just not misery with the weather. There's still time. Maybe it'll change. I'm not real thrilled about it, I'll be honest. All these teams had their spring games this week in the sunshine. It was like 82 degrees. People getting sunburned out there. And then ours are going to be sitting here. I'm going to be freezing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. So let's look at a couple of these comments on the roll call and we'll get going on this. Oh, supremely interesting. Paul Conley, $5 holler. Good morning, John the Great. Everybody send in a super chat to support John. He deserves it. You know what the irony is? I got to pay Paul $10 to give me $5 to put out that message. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, boy. Let's see. All right. We'll see how many people in the chat think they know what's going on in the quarterback position. They do not know what's going on. Maybe the spring game will shed some light on this. Interesting. Look at this. Paul with the $5 holler and then the shots on the group. Many in the chat, your followers are idiots. Maybe the guy running the show's an idiot too. People just enjoy it. I don't know. Stephen Arado, happy Monday. T-Rex, if Golson and Zaire where highly rated recruits can transfer and be backups. Why can't Hartman? I still think Hartman is the better player, though. Let the best man win. John, I hope you could bring into your following more well-reasoned thinkers. Some are real idiots. They think they know the score and they don't. Paul, do you care to elaborate on that and explain in what ways? Oh, man. Domer 88, Irish Nation. I'm sick of the red and want it to be dead. Fill the house that Rocky built with green September 23rd. No more red takeovers. Go Irish. I was told that they're releasing the shirt version coming up this week or something. Has to be green, right? If that's your theme for your biggest home game and we're pushing the green, I expect the shirt to be green, right? Adam Dowling, good morning. It's freezing. He's getting the snow I'm getting now in Illinois. It's heading your way right across the border, Adam. Coming for you, buddy. Look at this. I challenge the trolls to say one positive thing about ND. They won't. They won't. They can't. Some of these people, it's their identity to go through life loving Notre Dame, but hating publicly everything about them. I feel like I do that to a certain extent, but only when it's very much warranted. And you can still tell, even in my complaints about Notre Dame over the years, they are in a genuine pursuit of us accomplishing our goals. Like that's the difference. People can at least tell I'm doing this because I love Notre Dame and I'm genuinely mad when we're not good enough. I don't know with some of these trolls. I have no idea. Bobby Halfacre will get you a full one. Big John. Can't wait for the game and your commentary. I can't wait either, just to have football again to talk about. Andrew Gilmore, I really liked your videos over the weekend, but don't fall for the idea of a QB competition. Texas did the same thing last year with Ewers and Card. They are tricking Buckner into staying. Very interesting comment there. Andrew Gilmore again. Because this is very interesting. I saw this before we went live. Very intriguing. Because of how nice Freeman comes off during pressers and his relationship with some players. His public perception is of a really nice guy. In reality, he is as shrewd as anyone. Was K. Smith even hurt? You know what? In certain aspects, I do believe Andrew's onto something. Here's one thing that sticks out to me on this level. Kind of the discussion that was had with Pine about where all this is going. And some of the other players that have kind of transferred out and went into other schools, there was some very, very uncomfortable meetings that took place, like towards the end of the season or right after the season. And I'm not always sure that would have happened before to the level it did, as far as really looking at guys and their real opportunity to see the field and taking up a scholarship and wouldn't it be better for you to go play somewhere and us to have that scholarship? There were some very uncomfortable, respectful, but uncomfortable conversations in that time period. And I did get some people come to me that are more in the know than I am that say, John, man, this guy, he is great publicly, but he's down to business and he has an idea of what it takes here and he's going to do it. That is something in that vein where maybe I kind of understand what you mean by that. And I don't mind that in a way, as long as those different parts of his personality don't conflict to where you have people on the team who are like, oh, here this guy goes again, glad handing, kissing the children. You know what I mean? Doing the politician thing and everybody loves him, but behind closed doors. But I don't think that's what it is because Freeman's too genuine and too fair. So I think even in a situation where uncomfortable conversations have to be had, I'm confident he's handling it the right way because I trust how he operates interpersonally. So that's what I think. Jay Lehman, good morning. Finally, the week for the spring game. For those not going to the tailgate, game, Peacock TV better be ready. Yeah, let's get your Peacock up first thing in the morning. You got to do that. Uh-oh, the Sunset Kid. At work, short on help. Send help, John. Well, what kind of business are you in? I'll see what I can stir up for you. I did work in the recruiting industry in Chicago for a couple years, like high-end recruiting, head hunting, companies that tell me what they're looking for and then have me go find them and try and interview these people and figure out who's a good fit. I'll help you out. I got a good feel for people in that way. Not going to BS me through an interview. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Dr. John, Monday morning greetings, Irish lassies and lads. Who wants to fly me to the BG game and tailgate? One, I know you got the money, Dr. John. I know you got a private Learjet you're flying all over. So I know you got the money. And number two, I don't think you're coming because the weather's going to be too cold. Fighting Irish Faithful, good to see you. Go check out his work as well. Good guy, check it out. Please just no rain. Yeah, freezing rain was the only thing that could be. I'd rather have snow than freezing rain, let's be honest. This is on my list as well because there might be something here to go over. Styles on the D side, interesting development. Yeah, it's an interesting development for a couple different reasons. One is just practically, but number two, how it came about is very interesting. It seems like Styles is the one that initiated this discussion about looking into maybe playing on the defense. And I got a note on that because I find that very interesting. Peyton 800, kudos for Tyler Buchner for staying and competing. I'm sure Hartman isn't used to potential talent at or above his level. I mean, it's one of the top things I think all Notre Dame fans respect about Tyler Buchner. Even if you're somebody who doesn't believe Buckner's ever really going to reach his actualized potential, you could still look at that guy and love all of the competitiveness. The guy never stops. It's one of the number one things I respect about Tyler Buchner. It doesn't matter. Like adversity, injury, other guys coming in and going to play. He just goes until he gets injured and can't go. And you love that. That's like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish spirit. Go, and you never stop. So that's one of the top things I love about him. And so it shouldn't surprise anybody that a healthy Buchner is competing well in camp. The guy's a competitor. That's in his DNA. That's what he does. He's a natural competitor. That shouldn't surprise anybody. The trolls negative of ND are not well reasoned. That is one example. I think, here's what I think. I think there's a certain amount of people that come on my stream knowing that I'm high strung. And every morning they're like sitting there with their coffee on their couch going, what can I do to get John cranked up today? And I try and do a good job, especially on morning shows, of kind of going with the flow and having fun with it. But I think sometimes they type things in that they think they know are going to send me through the freaking moon. And sometimes, you know me, I can't just let it go depending on what it is. So I don't think those trolls even mean everything they're saying. I don't. I think some of it is an attempt to get you guys worked up in the chat and to get me where I'm yelling and moving my arms around. And it's the whole circus act. That comes naturally when I get going on something I don't like. So I try and play with it, but be careful. Yeah. Good news, John. No rain on Peacock. Yeah. You might have no rain and you might have no stream, or it might be lagging, or it might be buffering, going in a circle while there's plays going on. So you might not have rain. You might not have a game either. I don't trust that Peacock. Had it on last year, the wheel spinning. What do you mean the wheel spinning? Put on the game. Wheel spinning. Loading. What are you loading? Put it on. Show me football. Stupid app. Seriously, nothing could make your football game seem less like a big deal than putting it on some streaming app. I hate it. The regular season one, it just makes me feel like we're like a high school where they're trying out some new audio video technology. Put the game on TV. Make it a big deal. Come on. Unbelievable. Seriously. Sorry, you got me going on Peacock. All right, we got a call. Before I get into all my stuff I was going to do, I said I was going to be better about people that call, giving them a shot right away. And a couple other people calling dropped off. I think they're at work probably. 434. Give me some more. You're on the air. Happy Monday.
Hey, this is Buddy Whitaker down in Virginia. How you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. What's going on down there in Virginia? What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, it's a pretty nice day. I've been a Notre Dame fan since as long as I can remember. I've been to a lot of games in my life. I was at the Clemson game in '77 when Montana and that bunch beat them. I was at the Navy game in '88 when Notre Dame won the national championship. Jeff Burris, my brother lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. Jeff Burris came to his house, had a cookout. We played ball in the backyard. I scored a touchdown on him, and we just been a big fan. But the games that worry me this year, of course, Ohio State. We've lost 5 in a row to them cats. If you want to go back and look at history, so I'll believe it when we beat them, John. That's just damn it. That's just the way I am.
Yeah. It's a weird combination of things, man. Year 2, it's a transition year. It's a calibration year. And you got to get everything lined up right here. And the schedule's tough. There's no way around it. It's true Notre Dame scheduling. The schedule is tough. I've been saying last year's schedule and this year's schedule are 2 of the toughest I can remember in like legitimately the last 15 or 20 years. And they're back to back. And it's not that Notre Dame's tried to schedule weak in past years. It's just that a lot of brand name teams on Notre Dame's schedule were down. USC was down almost Kelly's entire Notre Dame career. Like that's an example of a game that was there every year, but wasn't exactly a marquee matchup every year. It's a tough little schedule here. What do you like Notre Dame's odds? A clip in Ohio State at home when they have a young quarterback, they're coming to your place? Or do you think there's just too much talent differential still?
Well, I think talent-wise, I think it's a toss-up now. I think the recruiting has gone better somewhat. I know these guys are young, but the defensive line, of course, we lost a lot there.
Yep.
And the linebackers, they weren't so great last year, but there's always hope with the younger guys. And if a couple, 3 of them can step up and be really good, I feel good about the talent level. Their quarterback's gone. We do have – it sounds like Buckner's playing very well in the spring. Who knows? That could be smoke screens. But I think, to me, in my lifetime, the game that has done it for me, when we lost to USC, you were in the stadium in 2005, the Bush Push game.
Yep.
It did something to our program. If 4th and 10, they don't convert, we win the game. Who knows?
Hey, listen, I don't listen, man. I don't know if it's done something to the program, but it definitely did something to me. I have not been. I mean, I know. Listen, man. I know I'm the emotional Notre Dame guy, and that's kind of my thing, is the riding those waves, and I get that, and it's entertaining. I genuinely mean when I say I've never been the same since I left the stadium that night. I say my soul left my body and it never came back. Like, I carry it with me. I don't even remember driving home. I was totally out of it, like out of my mind. Something changed in me. I have not been the same since that moment. Like, we were down there when the clock ran to 0. I was on the field grabbing a chunk of turf. We were going to bring it home and remember it forever. The clock ran out. And then they pushed us all back. It's just all a big nightmare, man. It's all just so vivid, and I'll never be the same. And it's just one of those moments, man. Everything about the weekend was great till that last minute. Unbelievable.
But like I said, with Notre Dame, demand springs eternal. So I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I'm just a big fan. I watch your show a lot when I can, and
I appreciate
go
that.
Irish. I wish I could come to the spring game.
Now wait, I got to ask you one question before you get off the line. Yeah. I got to ask. It's my responsibility on the topic of the day. I appreciate your call.
Uh-huh.
Here's the question. What do you make of Freeman saying this is still a live, active quarterback competition? Is he just trying to say that to keep everybody engaged and competing, but he knows what they're going to do? Or do you think it really is an open competition? And if that's true, is that good or bad? Or what do you think of the dynamics here?
Well, I think due to the limitations of people outside the coaching staff and whatever seeing the practices, I mean, the reports we get, which, you know, like that day, the offensive struggle, you know, Buckner's got the leg up with knowing the system, but it's still, I think he just says that to keep everybody engaged right now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to start Hartman. I do, but hell, I'm not a coach, so I'm not at practice either. Like, I'm with you. One elite quarterback, come on, that will take us. Even if we got to the championship game, they can keep us in the damn game at least.
Yeah. You know what I've been thinking about, man? I've really been thinking a lot about how much Notre Dame really has been able to achieve with pretty much half of an offense for like everything good that Notre Dame's done in recent history with Kelly. We did it pretty much with the run game and throwing to the tight end. Like, and it gives me, it's encouraging to me to think that there's more possibilities. Now, imagine a good Notre Dame run game with offensive line and a diversity of running backs. We like what they all can bring. And you have the ability to stretch the field or at least make a defense think you can and have to respect that. The opportunities are endless. I'm begging to see an offense like that.
Right. Well, I mean, the best, you know, you got to score. You got to average 40 points a game in this day and age. So you just got to do it. So.
Yeah. And you know what else is wild? When you look at these playoff games, like even the ones that feature like good physical defenses, the scores that are winning those games are high scores, even for teams that have good defenses.
They're 41-38. They're 4.
Yeah. So I think you need that as a feature to be able to compete. Forget about winning a playoff game, but to be able to compete in one, it looks like you need to be able to score a lot.
Yes, no doubt.
So I don't know, but I do.
And I think, I mean, our running backs, I'll put them up against anybody.
Yeah, it's a good group.
They're great. I mean, I love them.
Yeah, it's
Estimate and Diggs and Kyrie going to wide receiver. That's interesting, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then you know what else? I want to see where a healthy J.D. Price could fit in this mix because he flashed.
Oh yeah,
he flashed big time with that speed that was noticeably different than everybody else on the field last year. And then he got hurt. I want to see him bounce back and see if he has a role. So I don't know. I think that this offense has a chance to really take a step forward. The two areas I thought were weakest last year on offense was quarterback depth and talent and all that, and then the wide receiver room. And in one calendar year, both of those have been flipped in a very efficient way that I feel pretty good about. Pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, we need a couple of young guys on defense that really step up and ramp it up, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, we do.
We'll see, but
we do. You're right, though, man.
I said, beating Ohio State, I know you want to beat USC more than anybody. I understand that, but, I mean, Ohio State is the first of the three on the schedule. You win that game,
sets you up
undefeated.
Sets you up.
We've got to change.
Yeah, and the other, man, 1936, I believe, was Notre Dame's last victory over Ohio State. It's been a very, very long time. It's been a very, very long time. And listen, when the USC thing's just very personal, I totally understand people saying we need Ohio State because it's that first of the big three and it sets up everything for the year. I totally understand that. It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah. Well, if we was to beat Ohio State and beat Clemson and lose to USC in overtime, 11-1. If we could go 11-1 with that, we would get. I think we would make the playoff. I believe, but we'll see.
That would be about as convincing of an 11-1 as you could have, looking at the schedule and everything else. But, and then, really, here's the other thing, man. This is really the last year that we're going to have to sit on the edge of our seats if you end up 11-1 and wonder if you're making the playoff. Because
absolutely, we'll get a home playoff game.
Right, because then the new format kicks in the year after, and Notre Dame has flexibility, I believe, to even lose their top two games on the schedule and make that field most years. So this is the last year that if you fall in 11-1, you're going to be eating Weiss's cheeseburgers on that championship week and see what happens.
It sounds like the best we're going to do if we have a great season after this year. We would be the fifth seed maybe is our best shot. Then we would play number 12 and the winner plays number 1. So
yeah,
we'll find out real quick.
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting. But before we get to that year, we got to navigate this one in one piece. And we got
to get there. We just got to make something happen. Man,
I'm telling you, you got to. I don't care what it looks like. Be undefeated leading into Ohio State. If you lose any game before then, you're messing up the vibe of what messing up the vibe of what this is all supposed to be. So I don't even care if it's ugly. Work out your kinks. Be undefeated. And then that night in Notre Dame Stadium, that beautiful, crisp, early fall weather, everything's perfect. Everybody's in green, waiting to be seen. And you just go out there and play good football. I can't wait. It's too long away. I don't want to wait.
It's just like the '88 Miami game. Just perfect day.
Oh,
the world was all right.
Right.
Day.
You know what else? Bush Push Day was like that. There was not a single cloud. I remember it. It was like heaven was on earth. There was not one cloud in the sky. It was not too cold.
Right.
It was not too hot. Everything was perfect until it wasn't. That's my speech. Everything was perfect up until what?
10.
Oh, God.
4th and 10. Turn your head around and find the ball, please.
I will never get over it. Do you know how many times
I will not either.
Do you know how many times I replayed that play in slow motion to see our guy's fingertip a half an inch away from hitting that ball down and ending the game right there?
It be right there.
I've watched it thousands of times, and I'll never get over it. I'll just never get over it.
Nope.
I won't. And that's my problem.
One of those plays.
That's my problem.
I will never forget it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was rough. But
carry on and let's go Irish and let's do it this year. Let's get there.
Hey, I appreciate it. And listen, man, it's important that we have people like you representing us places where Notre Dame people aren't the most commonly thought of, like Midwest Chicago people expect that of me. Represent us down where you're at. Keep it going, man. Wear that ND proud, baby. Wear it proud.
In '93, my mom was the biggest fan. In 1993, we had the TV outside for Florida State. We had 20 people in the yard watching the game, half Notre Dame, half Florida State. It was a hell of a day too.
Man, I love it. Keep it going, my friend. And thanks for the call. Give me a call whenever.
Will.
Give me a call whenever. Have a good week and enjoy the blue and gold game, my friend.
Too.
See ya.
Later.
Oh, bye-bye. What a nice guy on a Monday morning. That's a good start. That's a good start. 618. Make it great. What's up?
Hey, John.
Good morning, my friend. Happy Monday.
Yeah, man. Man, I'm feeling more and more confident, man. It seems like, man, that with the struggles of Hartman, man, they looking more and more towards Buckner. I'm not saying Buckner probably is out. You know, he's that far ahead of Hartman right now, but looking more and more, man. I mean, a lot of people think that, man, the only way we're going to win is if Hartman is the quarterback. I think Buckner will probably take us a longer way, man. He might, in the end, take us.
All right, here's how I'm thinking about this. I'm not at all these practices. I see what's written about. I see the little clips. I don't know. I'm not acting like I have all the information, okay? But let's say the reality is Buckner's out playing Hartman like day to day here. Like, let's say that's what's happening. That's a better scenario for Notre Dame long term, isn't it? Because you would have him next year and then he comes back. So then you're building off that experience and theoretically you should get better. That would probably be Notre Dame's best path. But only if it's legitimate that Buckner's outplaying a Hartman and it's obvious. Like, you have to be sure about that for this year to be able to make that move. But I could argue that's better for the program long-term because Buckner, you'll have more than 1 year out of him. But I just don't know where this all falls. Are they just saying that to keep everybody engaged, but they know what they want to do? Or do you believe that it's really that much of a competition snap to snap?
So let me ask this though, John. Do you think Hartman was really he was really Freeman guy, or do you think he was more a Tommy Rees guy?
Oh, that's a really good question. That's a very good question. There's no doubt that the guy that he had the best relationship with at Notre Dame was Tommy Rees. That's a guy whose system he wanted to play in. That's a guy he built the relationship with. I don't know about that. It had to be awkward for Hartman to not really know anybody and then build a relationship with Rees. And then you get to Notre Dame and the guy you had the relationship with is gone in short order. I'm sure he felt kind of out on an island, but that's life. You adjust. Things aren't ideal and things happen. So I don't know. I don't know.
Too late to get to Alabama, man.
Yeah, I've thought of that. But let me ask this. Wouldn't it be kind of a nightmare for Hartman? You had all that fanfare at Wake. And then you did this, and then you transferred, and then the guy that you had the relationship with is gone, and then you lose the starting job. That's not what he envisioned for his final year of eligibility. Wouldn't that be a pretty big nightmare in every way for him personally?
Yeah.
It's pretty embarrassing.
I looked at some of his film. Man. Nobody gives credit to his receivers, but man, you throwing slants and they're taking it 50 yards. Man, that's not really doing a whole lot. That's your receivers don't have to do a lot, in that type of offense that he was in. You don't have to do a lot. He's great at throwing the deep pass, but man, let's face the fact, man. We don't know. What I'm hearing is what we all hearing is Buckner out playing him right now. He's struggling in a pro style offense.
Yeah, and now the other question is, should we have expected some of that struggle in transition? Should that be baked in that you would expect that? Or are you somebody who says, if you're a 6-year dude coming in here, then pick it up pretty quick. You've seen it all and learn it, and I expect you to get up to speed pretty quick. I don't know the logistics of that. I don't know.
Yeah, it could go both ways. I know he was a 6-year guy, but man, it could go both ways. I always said that, hey, the way that, I'm not saying that Buckner was like Tom Brady or something in the bowl game, but man, he still showed that, hey, I could get this done if I get the opportunity. And then, I believe that Rees wanted another quarterback. He wanted another quarterback because, Pine was his guy. I believe to this day that Pine was
you picked the wrong guy. You picked the wrong guy. If that's your guy, how can that be your guy? He's small and he's short and how can it be your guy? How can it be your guy?
I think that was his.
How can it be your guy?
That was his guy. I don't think he ever.
Man.
I don't think he really ever cared for Buckner. Be truth be told, so he wanted another quarterback.
Man,
knowing that Buckner will return.
Yeah, it's and then you got a whole different segment of people that are saying they're taking advantage of Buckner's competitive spirit because they're saying this is a competition to keep him around because they know he loves competition and he feels like he's in it. Wouldn't Buckner be able to see through that? Hasn't he been around the block long enough that if that was a dynamic, a guy that smart would be able to be like, I see what you're doing here. You got me, chasing the toy in front of the car here, something.
Mm-hmm. And that's good. I think that Buckner is really, man, be honest with you, man. I believe that's Freeman's guy. Buckner is Freeman's guy. And I think that, Pine and Hartman, them was Tommy Rees's guys. And Rees left after he got his guy in place. One of his guys leave and he get another one of his guys in place. Then he take off and leave. So it kind of left Hartman in a messed up situation, man. Yeah. Knowing that it's a possibility that you might not be, I don't care what nobody say. It was a possibility. I think he came in as not being the starter. I think when Rees would have been here, he would have been named starter from day one. It would have been no competition. It would have looked like a competition, but I think it would have been no competition. And once he took off, I think they gave Freeman, now a little bit of freedom to say.
I will say this though, maybe I like that Freeman is all about competition. Like, regardless of what the practical realities of this are, I think if you're going to default to competitive mode, I'm okay with that. If that's how you want to run things to get the most out of people and have everybody pushing and to show that at the most important position in the program, you got to compete. Nobody just comes in and earns that job. There's a trickle down there with every other position and every other group, and coaches pushing their guys in their group. Like, if you're raising the compete level, I'm hard pressed to say that's a bad thing, as long as you don't create some quarterback division in the locker room where you end up with a bunch of guys that want Buckner because he's been in the program longer and they know him, and then other guys who want Hartman because they got a good relationship with him in chemistry when they play catch together. Like, as long as that doesn't happen, if you're building this intense competition for playing time, I like that.
Man, I just think, like, man, like, I don't think the players really care as long as they win it,
Yeah.
As long as they get into the playoffs or get into a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah.
But I think that, man, it was a division between him and I believe it was a division, well, not a division towards players, but between the coaches, with Reese and Freeman. I believe Freeman wanted Buckner and Reese wanted Hartman. And Reese showed how much he really wanted Hartman because he took off and left.
Yeah,
so,
it's interesting. It's just, and the thing is, the way it looks is we're going to be talking about this all summer, and then we're going to rejoin in August.
I'll tell you this.
It's going to be a thing all summer.
I'll tell you this, man. He's like I said before, when he first said he was going to Notre, he's a 6-year guy. He was we beat up on the ACC. So, ACC defenses is not like that. Like, he was breaking records in the SEC. He was breaking records in the ACC. So, we beat up on ACC defenses. Man, I believe in the end, man, I truly believe in myself. I believe that, man, it's going to be rough for him. And I believe the only reason that Freeman is like, man, it's going to go down to the wire. I believe in the end, we better off with Buckner as the quarterback because of his dual threat abilities, man. A lot of these, you win in college football with dual threat quarterbacks, man. You can't have nobody sitting in the pocket as a sitting duck and people taking shots.
Yeah, but Sam Hartman's not like Cone and Reese slow. Like, I've seen he could scoot way better than those guys. Cone looked like 2 skyscrapers standing there. His legs literally looked like the New York skyline stuck to the ground. Like, Hartman's not that slow, right?
Yeah, I hope the kid get the starting spot, man. But I'm just saying, like, man, I'm not hearing that, like, Buckner is, like, blowing the competition away. Like, he just set up and took it away from him. I'm just hearing that, man, he's looking better. With the first team, he's looking a lot better. And, man, I like what Freeman doing, man, making this competition where, like, man, look, man, we ain't got to really worry about the games. The games ain't it. It's the practices. Our practices is going to be tougher than our games going to be.
Yeah.
So
you know what that sounds like? That sounds like Lou Holtz. That sounds like Lou Holtz. That sounds like the 85 Bears, where they all said the practices were way harder than the games. The game was the payoff. Everything else was easy. I remember them both saying that.
Yeah, and I just feel like your practices should be tougher than your games any day, and you already see what's happening in the receiving room. You know what I mean? And I knew it was going to happen.
And you know what, man? Hey, listen, I was going to tie that in and ask you that on the back end and say, how much better is all this going to look in any quarterback with the new renovated wide receiver room? I'm not acting like it's Terrell Owens and Jerry Rice out there and Timmy Brown again. I'm not acting like that. But in my opinion, there is a major upgrade in talent, and some of the young guys even can contribute, and I think they might even have to.
I think them freshmen, man, the freshmen plus, Merriweather and those guys, man, I think they pushed a couple of the older receivers out. The freshmen and the guys like Merriweather and the other 2 receivers, I think they kind of pushed these guys out. Like, man, like, look at the guy that transferred from Caleb Smith. He retired because he
Yeah.
probably wasn't going to get much playing time and it would get much,
All right. Now
burned
then
in
let
that
me ask
rotation.
this. Now you're leading me into another question that's related to this. What do you make of Styles getting looks on the defensive side of the ball? And him asking, it sounds like he's the one who asked for it. So does that tell you that maybe he feels like he's about to be passed up in that wide receiver room and he's thinking of a way to be able to see the field? But wait, I don't want to but wait, it's a Monday morning and I'm trying to do this fair and I don't want to put that on somebody. But my first inclination was that's what I would probably do if I saw I was going to get passed up is think, how can I see the field now? Am I wrong in that assumption? I'm open. I may be way off, man.
Man, I think he was passed up once them freshmen stepped foot on the campus. He was passed up. They probably went to him like, look, man, you can either transfer or you're going to have to do something about this or you're going to have to get better.
Yeah.
You dropping passes, man, that ain't going to work.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah. Well,
we don't have we don't have JV high school receivers anymore coming in.
Yeah.
We have the real deal coming in. So either you transfer or either you change positions or you're going to be left behind, man. And I think that from day one, he was left behind.
Yeah.
Once the freshmen stepped foot once the freshmen stepped foot on campus, he was left behind.
Yeah.
And he probably been struggling with this all season, man. Like, hey, what should I do?
Yeah. And the thing is, I didn't think a lot of his problems and inefficiencies last year were like he's not physically capable. I think it was a mind thing. It was like he has hard time like focusing on what he needed to do. It seemed like it was more of like a mindset thing. And the last thing I need is a guy now worrying about that at 2 spots when I already had worries about where his head's at. I don't need him worrying about that on offense and defense. So I hope they figure something out. And I think you got that Smith thing. You got the Smith thing. Now you got this dynamic. All of that seems to indicate to me those young guys are going to get to play, and everybody I think is okay with that. That's kind of how I'm reading that whole dynamic. I think them guys are going to get to play.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think once, Tommy Reese didn't believe in playing freshmen, but I believe this guy, man, that's how you make your team better, man. You don't sit up and wait on these guys to become sophomore, juniors, and seniors to play them. You got to play them right away. If they're the best if they're the best that you got to offer, you put the best on the field.
Yeah.
And not Merriweather, but Styles, I know it's a mind thing, but you don't want to have to go into the season like you did last year, and then it's still a mind thing, and he's still dropping passes. So you got to go with what's best on the field, and I just feel like, man, there's nothing wrong with the Notre Dame guys wanting to coach at Notre Dame, but the situation is like this, man. Notre Dame it's always been about playing upperclassmen. It's never been about playing the freshmen, the best players. Do you think Saban for 1 minute, if he got a receiver that's better than a senior that's a freshman, he's going to say, well, we're going to get you some looks this year, play you in some game situations, but you're not going to hardly play
but the difference is Saban gets 9 5-star recruits in one recruiting class. So he's got a little bit less, like more to work with and less risk. Because it's, you know what I mean? He's got a lot more fives to throw around.
John, whether he's a no star or he's a 5-star, if your receiver's a freshman and he's the best player on the field and he's the best receiver that you got, you don't sit him down and say, hey, well, we're going to get you some playing. We're going to play you because clearly we saw that Merriweather was the best receiver we had last year.
Yeah, I felt like they resisted letting him try and be that at times. He should have got way more action last year. I'm sorry. And I know I'm an idiot. No, I'm an idiot and I'm not a coach. And what do I know? And he isn't the best, cleanest route runner. And he isn't a polished blocker and because he's so young. You needed somebody to go down the field and catch a ball. It isn't rocket science. Let a young athletic guy jump and catch the ball. It isn't that hard. It's the one thing we needed last year. I'm not asking him to be perfect. Let a young guy go make a play.
If I had it my way, and then I was down in Texas when when I was sitting when Greyhouston won their first state championship, and I said, man, this dude is a dude, man. Back then he was a sophomore. So this is a dude, man. And and my buddies that moved to Austin, he said, man, dude, we played Westlake, man. He's the guy. He's the guy. And he's playing great competition. What, man? Iron sharp as iron, man. I don't care where it is. If you play BS competition in high school, whether you're a 5-star, you're a 10-star, you're a 0-star,
yeah,
it's gonna always come out and show. It's gonna always come out and show when it's time to go up against great competition. So I believe that my 3 receivers, well, I will have Cozy as a slot, and the other 3 would be Greyhouse, it would be
what about Jaden Thomas? What about Thomas? You forgetting about him? He might have been the most consistent we had last year.
Yeah, when you don't hardly got no great receivers. You're supposed to be the best.
By default, you catch 3 passes in the year, top of the list. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Merriweather showed that he was the best receiver that we had. He just didn't get. I don't know what it was with him and Tommy Reese. He just did not get the playing time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would have said something. Maybe it was Stuckey too. Maybe Stuckey felt like he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But I believe in them freshmen that we got, especially Greyhouse.
I want to see the rotation. I want to see what this looks like. Not in the blue and gold, but when we get into the year, I really want to see this because I genuinely think those guys can play. I think they could play and not be like a big risk. I think they could play and help.
I think Flores might be the best route runner that you might have.
Man, it's going to be great to see. And then let me wrap up with this. Let's bring this all home. How much of this do you think we're going to see in the blue and gold game? Are they going to be ultra conservative in this game, or are they actually going to try and stretch the field and pass and see how these quarterbacks do in a live competition, see what it's like connecting and throwing to these guys? Like, I would love to see it. I just don't know their willingness or appetite for it.
The one I want to see in the blue and gold game, I want to see Tyree, how he's doing at the slot. What is route running going to look like?
Yeah.
Because the slot receiver don't have to do a lot. You run slants and you run bubble screens.
Yeah.
And you might run down the middle occasionally. But this receiver, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a few more that be transferring by the end of by
yeah, I get that. I could understand that. Yeah, because by then you're going to know where you fall. Yeah, you're going to know where you fall. And if you know you're not going to play, leave.
Maybe Styles would be one of them that be like, man, I know I asked him to move to the defense, but I really want to play receiver, but I won't play receiver here. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. So, hey, competition's good, man. And the more, the better. And we need to make up for all that we have not had in the wide receiver room. But it's going to be really interesting. And blue and gold's going to be very interesting. We got multiple quarterbacks that you're interested in. All these young guys that could run around. I'm excited to see it. And then hopefully everybody stays reasonably healthy and we go into the summer.
Remember, I said, man, iron sharp as iron, man. And these kids at Notre Dame, man, and I've been loving Notre Dame since I was 3 years old, man. When you don't have nobody to compete with, then you used to being the starter. You used to being the best receiver on the field.
Yeah.
Now you got these kids that's coming in. They're like, hey, no, I'm not here just to ride no bench in my first year.
Yeah.
I'm here to play. And if you don't like it, you can go elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I think Freeman got that mind frame, man. He brought that mind frame he's one of them Ohio State kids where the best players are going to get on the field.
Yeah.
So that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be because we've seen Thomas be the best receiver. You're the best receiver because you don't have these type of receivers around you.
That's fair. Yeah.
Now you got
That's fair.
Now you got these kids that say, hey, no, No.
Yep.
All these analysts and everybody saying, okay, these three gonna be the starters. Not this year.
Yep.
No, not this year.
Yep, and that's good. That is all progress. That is all progress.
Beat me out for it.
Yeah, that's progress, though, to have that kind of competition, have younger guys go in and push. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Hey, give me a call later on this week when we get closer to blue and gold. Let me know what you're looking for in the game, all right?
All right, man.
Have a good Monday. Thanks for the call. Good checking in with you.
All right, man.
See ya. Oh, man, he always has a lot to say. 773. Good morning, Patrick.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm sure you have some thoughts on this. Where do you want to go?
Oh, yeah, I do. Well, Saturday I shot a 51 on the front and a cool 40 on the back.
That's a nice little split there, buddy.
Yeah, it was a nice turnabout. I went from the worst guy in the group to the best guy in the group. It was nice. It was enjoyable.
That's pretty tidy. Good work. Too bad the front nine ruined your overall score, but we will forget about that.
No,
yeah,
I went 8, 6, 7, 7. It was freaking awful. I was going to kill myself. Yeah. But yeah, we got it dialed in. So a lot of things can be true at once here. It could be true that Hartman is struggling to pick up the pro-style offense. It could be and should be true that Buckner is playing better. I mean, come on. He's 3 years now, a college football player.
Yep, and so, healthy. Yeah, and in one piece.
And healthy. So
yeah,
we shouldn't be surprised by that. And it can also very well be true. I do think there's credence to keeping the quarterback competition to prevent Buckner from transferring if he thinks he's not the guy. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
So that just makes overall sense to me that, you know, you need a quality backup. As nice as Minchie and Janelli sound or whatever the hell his name is, that I don't know where they're at. And I would rather have a guy who's got 3 years, somewhat of 3 years of playing experience as a backup instead of a freshman or a sophomore who's never played.
Yeah.
So a lot of things can be true here. And it doesn't mean that Hartman sucks. It doesn't mean that the coaches suck or we made wrong decisions bringing Hartman in or none of that stuff is true. A lot of stuff can be true, but at the same time, a lot of stuff can't be true or don't have to be true. And I think just any idea here, Freeman come out saying this quarterback competition is going to go well into the fall. Well, good. Why not? Like, the competition is what it's all about.
But see, all right, but half the messages I've gotten since that press conference have been, if Hartman is what everybody said he was, it shouldn't even be close. He should obviously already be way ahead. And then that tells me that he's not that good. I've gotten like a dozen of those messages saying, I thought Hartman was supposed to come in here and throw the ball over. Shouldn't it be obvious by now that he's head and shoulders above? And that's a problem. I've gotten a bunch of those messages.
It could, but here's the thing, that absolutely could be true. He could be head and shoulders above him. Maybe the hang up is he's struggling with the playbook because he played in that stupid system at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. Maybe he is just struggling to pick up the nuance of the pro system. And so what? He's got a whole summer to learn the playbook and work on this stuff. Like, I'm not worried about that. That stuff will come. That stuff always comes in time. One thing can be true. Hartman can be head and shoulders above Buckner, but Buckner could have taken such a big step that Hartman's not head, shoulders, and waist above him. He's just head and shoulders now above him. Buckner could have closed some of that gap, and he's showing that by work ethic. And what are the coaches going to say? Hey, man, you worked your ass off since you got hurt last year. You got back on the field, help us win a bowl game. You spent the whole winter busting your balls. You've come out. You've tried real hard in the spring, but this guy's better than you. So we're just going to call it right here and now. What does that do to that kid's confidence? What does that do for Hartman to say, oh, man, I got it good. All right, I don't have to worry about this anymore. I can take it easy. No, it just makes no sense. Why?
Wait. Let me give you a reason you would do that. Let me give you a reason on the flip side why you would go that way is just to kind of get your operation all rallied together. So where there's no more questions, everybody knows who the leader is, everybody knows who's in charge of this offense, and then everything gets built around him and his skill set and what you want to do. And there's not like any questions, and everybody knows who's playing the most important spot on a football field, and you rally around all that. That would be maybe a reason you would do that if you were ready to do it.
Johnny, there?
Yeah.
My thing cut out.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. I hear you now. I don't know. My phone cut out.
Yeah.
I understood your overall point. Like, let's get the quarterback in place. The team can come around the quarterback. Let's get the offense in place, and let's get everyone used to each other. It's spring ball. You're not doing that in spring ball.
Yeah.
You don't have the full team there. Yeah. You have guys that are going to. You have guys that might be heavily participating in practice right now that are not going to be there in the spring.
And you're going to split reps. You're going to split reps to a certain extent, a lot in the spring, no matter what, anyways, too. Like you just have to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's spring ball. This isn't the time for that. And all you're doing is you're saying that we're going to go into the fall, and then the QB competition is going to continue there. Did he say it's going to take all of fall? Did he say it's going to be one day in the fall? It's going to be 2 weeks. What is it going to be? I don't know. It could be anything. All it is it's great motivation for Hartman and Buckner to work their asses off over the summer and become better football players.
Yeah.
That's all it is to me. And I don't worry about the team coming around. At the end of the day, these guys are going to play with who they're gets put on the football field, right? The coaches are going to make that decision. If there was issues between Hartman and Buckner, which these guys in the media definitely don't play that. And nor would I expect them to, even if there were. But there's no inkling anywhere that there's issues between these two guys.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about the team getting behind one guy and not playing for the other guy. I mean, that's your own playing time you're costing yourself.
Yeah.
So those are things that they don't make me concerned. And fall ball is when the offense gets put in. Fall ball is when you are getting ready to prepare a football team for the season. And I think I believe it will be Hartman. And I think he's going to have a good 3-week stretch where he's the guy, he's getting the majority of the reps.
Yeah. All right. Now, if that plays out that way, and if I had to put money on it, I would guess that would be the path as well. If that's how we roll into the regular season, where do you see Buckner? What's his role from that point on? Do you build him some RPO packages in the red zone or whatever to keep him engaged? No. Or do you run with Hartman and whatever happens, happens?
I run with Hartman, and Buckner's he's the number 2 quarterback. And I run with Hartman. But this is me personally. Like others can. This is one where I'm okay with disagreeing. But I hate that 2 quarterback runner guy out for a package because I just think that disrupts the whole flow of the offense. So I'm a 1 quarterback guy, and let that guy play and command the field, command the offense, and then we go from there. And if Hartman goes down and everything is true about Buckner, then great. He should be able to step right in, run this offense, and we should be good to go.
Yep, and add some extra wrinkles with his capabilities running. Like you should be able to do that then. Now, let me ask this part, and I want to be careful here because I don't want to get sucked into all the Notre Dame-ness about this question, but what are the odds I'm over-exaggerating and am overexcited about what I think the wide receiver group can bring, especially some of the younger guys? Is that a reality, or does it just seem like one to me because I'm used to guys that their legs are all broken or they don't get open and nothing happens, so anything feels good to me? You know what I'm saying? I'm used to such a low bar. Guys that are just able to run out there is a benefit.
Yeah, no, I hear
it drives me nuts.
This is one of the better.
We've been so far behind what a real life offense is. I can't handle it.
It is definitely one of the best wide receiver rooms we've seen in the last 5 to 10
Thank you.
Yes. I'm not. And here's the thing: as long as Notre Dame keeps Chancey Stuckey around, as long as they keep that guy happy and paid, which is probably going to be hard to do.
I was going to say he's going to the NFL next year.
Yeah, he's going to be the hottest. I mean, they 1 year they made a run at him, and the dude got paid, and so Notre Dame will pay a guy in 1 year. I don't think Notre Dame likes to go back and keep paying guys, but hopefully they do, because this is an absolute credit to this guy, and I think if you have him for a good 3-4 year stretch, you're going to have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. So yeah, and to your comment about the Lorenzo Styles thing, you know, I think it was Bill Parcells that said defensive backs are wide receivers who can't catch.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's Styles right now. And you know, here's the thing. I like Styles. He's fast. He's big. He's got some decent size to him. I think he would be a great defensive back. I also think I really wish he could figure out whatever his issue is that's preventing him from catching the ball. But
yeah,
I don't look at guys moving around. You know, my dad tells me the story about when Era came into Notre Dame, and that team was so bad, and they almost won a national championship his very first year. And I said, well, what did Era do different? He said the guys were just playing in positions that didn't belong, and he put them all into positions that they belonged in. And who knows? Maybe that's the case with Lorenzo Styles. Anytime I hear a guy changing positions, I always hope it's because they feel like this guy is better at something else. It's not just so he could see this field.
Yeah.
And be a body, or be like, for how many years did we watch Notre Dame put a guy into take a running back or a slot receiver and put him into a defensive back position because they didn't have enough bodies there, because they never properly recruited a defensive back.
Yeah, and that's just pure desperation.
And I always hated that.
Yeah.
Right. And I always hated it. Like Avery Davis. I hated that stuff because you're killing that guy's career. Like you're telling that guy to sacrifice what he's trying to accomplish for himself for the team, not because it's truly best for the team, but it's because you were a bad coach and recruiter.
Yeah. No, so I get that.
That's why. So if it's Styles doing it, or if it's his coaching staff saying, "Hey, you might be really good at this if you want to try this," I'm all for it. Who was the Notre Dame had a defensive back that came in at a wide receiver, and they moved him over, and he was a stud right away a few years ago. What was his name?
Here's how I look at it. Well, the way I look at it is, if you have a increased level of talent and depth at wide receiver, and we know secondary is always kind of a concern back there, and it works, then everybody wins. But it's only if it's done the right way for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know, Pat. It's just people went wild when that press conference came out and Freeman said it's an open competition. Like, every different direction you can name, people were going there. I expected more out of Hartman. I thought he'd be further ahead. Or I told you Hartman was a bum. That's not why he didn't. Why is he not in the NFL? Like, that's the other thing we all got to understand, Pat. I had people say, John, I'm just kind of shocked to hear that Hartman isn't further along. And then I would say, well, he's changing systems, so you got to have some understanding of that. But then secondly, if he was that elite, he wouldn't be playing for us. He'd be drafted this week, right?
Yeah.
But it's still better than what we're used to. There's levels. There's levels. Not ready to go to the draft, but still walking in being levels above what I'm used to at Notre Dame. There's a lot of wiggle room between all these levels.
I know. There's a big difference. There's a really big difference between college football and the NFL. And so, like the comment you have on the screen, why didn't Hartman go pro if he's so great? Well, because he's not great. Whoever said he was great?
Right. That's where I get caught.
Caleb Williams didn't transfer in. There's a reason this guy's transferring to begin with, you know? So if anyone was saying he was great, it's ludicrous.
But that's where I get stuck with people being like, John, you're pumping up the quarterback room. Well, if that guy's but there's a big level. He could not be ready to be drafted this week or next week, whenever it is, but also provide Notre Dame a lot more than they've had to get in a better position. But I can't get people to get that there's levels to this.
No, again, it comes back to, again, multiple things can be true. The first thing is true is Hartman is not NFL ready, probably because he's never played in a pro system. Most likely the reason, which is why he wanted to come to Notre Dame. And the second thing could be true. He is an improvement to the Notre Dame quarterback room. And I don't think anyone can argue that. You can't bring in a guy with 5 years of playing experience because of his COVID year. And he's an all-time thrower in the ACC. And you can't expect to say he's not an improvement to the QB room. You just can't do that. Drew Pine or not, obviously he's better than Drew Pine. He's probably better than Buckner. And I think he's better than the Angelini guy or whatever his name is. He's an improvement. He's an improvement.
Yeah.
It's not Caleb Williams. No one's saying he's Caleb Williams, but he should perform better.
Yes.
Than what was performing last.
Pat, that sounds totally logical to me. That is how I'm viewing this. I can't get people to get it. And it's like there's a lot of wiggle room between top NFL draft pick and being better than a Wizard of Oz character that's 3 feet tall back there. There's a million miles of difference.
It's like these tools in the chat, the Cousin Lukes and the Newt Rockneys and they're not saying it to you because they believe it to be true.
I agree with you.
They're
I think you're right.
Because they want to, because they're trying to dunk on you.
I know.
They think they're posterizing you like you're a LeBron James poster and you're getting dunked on. But honestly, what does it do? Like if these people are supposed Notre Dame fans and they're like, oh, John Hartman sucks so bad he can't beat out Buckner. Oh, okay, cool, man. Live with yourself. I hope you enjoy that negativity in your life. I don't know. I don't know what else to say to these people.
I know, man.
If the enjoyment you get in like John, I obviously you and I have known each other for like 20 years now. So we became friends over Notre Dame football and it grew greater than that. But it was we were always positive about Notre Dame, except when they're like playing Michigan. There was always a positivity. It didn't matter if it was Charlie Weiss or Brian Kelly. When the new season would come, when fall would get here and the leaves would start to change, and we'd be on the golf course and we would see a brown leaf, when we would turn to each other and be like, football's coming.
Yep.
And there was an excitement to that. For people who go into the football season saying they are Notre Dame fans, which I don't know if I fully believe them, but saying they are Notre Dame fans, but want Notre Dame to fail. I don't know. That's a negativity I can't live with my life. You guys have to be a very weird, terrible person if that's what you go through. I despise the last guy more than anybody. I stopped going to Notre Dame games in 2017 or 2018. I think it was before the COVID year. I stopped going to Notre Dame games because I hated that man so much. But I still watched the games. I still cheered for the team, and I wanted them to win. I wanted them to win in despite of the last guy.
Yeah,
I would have dealt with him if he won, but I was never negative. And so the people who are just sitting there, well, I mean, I get a different hobby, I guess. So when Notre Dame pisses me off, I go play golf.
But Pat, here's what's amazing. But my arc in this is absolutely astounding to me. The last handful of years, I was branded as the negative, glass half empty, anti-BK, always looking on the dark side guy. And then because of the coaching change, and I actually like this guy's personality and the way he operates, now I have turned into the guy who's too positive, and I don't hold Freeman accountable, and I'm not looking at things fairly, and I got the green shades on. I could never imagine I would be painted as the too positive guy. You've known me 20 years. When do I ever look at the bright side, Pat? Come on. I operate. What can go wrong? And let's work our way better from that. I'd rather be prepared for bad.
Yes, but you're not negative. You're prepared for bad, but you're hoping for the best, right? Which isn't that what everyone should be doing in life? Right now, I got a ton of stuff I have to do at work today, and I got a bunch of stuff that can go wrong. I'm prepared for all of it, but I'm hoping for the best because I'm on the phone with you, not doing my work.
Yeah, well, I'm a good influence in that regard. I'm glad you have your priorities right, Pat. I'm glad you have your priorities straight. Oh man, but like I don't know, Pat. It's just wild. Like I'm Mr. Positivity now. I got people messaging me, Pat, saying you were riding Kelly's ass every day. Why aren't you holding Freeman accountable? Every day on my show, we talk about here are the part of the teams that need to be better next year. What does accountability look like after 1 year? What do you want him to quit because he didn't go 11-1? You got to give the guy a little time to work.
I'm laughing at Mark with glasses' comment. Pat, raise your expectations. Tolerating mediocrity is dangerous. Indeed, might turn into Stanford.
Oh my God!
So I don't know, Mark. Mark doesn't know who I am, and it's fine. And I don't blame him for his comment. Brian Kelly was losing playoff games, and I was screaming, "Fire that SOB!" because he was the definition of mediocrity.
Right.
And again, Freeman's a new head coach. I went in knowing what Freeman is about. You know, like I know what I'm expecting here. So it's all about expectation. I don't want Notre Dame to be mediocre. I want Notre Dame to go back to where it was with Lou Holtz and Eric Parsegian and those like. And so it's not about accepting mediocrity. It's about giving this guy a chance. I'm not going to dog a first-year a brand new head coach, a guy who's 38 years old. He's younger than I am. And he's got one of the hardest coaching jobs in the country. I'm not going to be the guy who loses to Stanford and everybody wants to melt down. It's not. I expected that because he was a first year head coach.
But then here's all right. Now wait,
and I expect the season after that to be better.
But here's the other part. Here's the other part that I took major crap for. When we would lose or have these challenges with the roster last year and all that, I always thought it was fair and responsible to mention that Freeman inherited that roster from a previous regime that did not recruit and develop appropriately, and that needed to be understood when we're gauging that first year, what he had to deal with talent-wise that wasn't all of his doing. And I also think it's fair that every day we get further from that point, it's more on Freeman. That is the fairest way to look at this in the world. And then I have people tell me he was handed a top 5 roster and burned it in the ground last year. There's no world where that was a top 5 or 10 or even 20 roster last year. No freaking way. You're out of your mind. No.
I love these. Yeah, no, but I love how these guys are coming at me in the chat now. Andrew, Brian Kelly was an established head coach who was at Notre Dame for 12 years, and the best he ever did was a blowout on the national stage. That was the best performance he ever gave you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's a guy that had every opportunity. And the university gave him everything he ever asked for. And don't let him lie to you about that. They built him stadiums, they built him practice facilities, training tables, private planes, millions and millions and millions of dollars. They gave that man everything he ever asked for. And he didn't do anything with it. Why? Because he thought Notre Dame had to shop down a different aisle. Marcus Freeman comes in. He doesn't ask for anything except the ability to go recruit every player he can. And he's doing that. Did he have some lumps? Did he have to learn some lessons? Yes. And I'm okay with that because I have a proper expectation. When in Brian Kelly's first season, when they went 7-5, I didn't want the guy fired because I saw progress. I saw things change. And we're talking about a guy who was a head coach for almost 20 years at that point when he came to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And so it's about expectation. If you're expecting a head coach, especially a first-year head coach, to walk into a program and beat every team on your schedule, you lost your mind. Brian Kelly's laid duds. I remember watching a Navy game with Brian Kelly where Navy ran through him and put up like 35 points in the first quarter, and Notre Dame couldn't get off the field. All right, so like people like. Oh, you're willing to accept the loss to Marshall. Yeah, I agree. A loss to Marshall is unacceptable. And I tell you what, I bet Marcus Freeman has learned the lessons he needed to learn from that, and he's going to apply it to this season. And say, well, what happened to Stanford? Why didn't he apply it to Stanford? How do you change it? How do you change the whole way your football team has been built in mid-season? did they not come out against was it Utah? They played Utah and Vegas and beat a team that was considered better than everyone thought they were going to lose to. There was
all right now, Pat, Andrew. All right,
way.
now let's do this the right way and the fair way. Andrew's saying, "Come on, Pat." He inherited a dumpster fire from Weiss, and then on this end, Notre Dame's coming off 3 years in a row of 10+ wins, so those expectations should have been different. Before you answer that, I'm going to say, going into last year, all summer, I said this roster is severely flawed and you are going to see it. And you need to understand where you want to direct your frustrations when you see this on your screen. And it's Freeman and not Kelly on the sideline. We knew that. If you were paying attention at all, you knew last year's roster was going to have big problems. And anybody who wasn't paying attention or didn't want to believe it.
No, God, it's so true. There's, especially on the offensive side, you had no offensive line. It took 6 games before you had an offensive line that started playing well together. Okay, so the first few games of the season, I mean, look at it this way. What you want to say Weiss's team was a dumpster fire? Don't forget, Brian Kelly took Weiss's players to a national championship in 3 years. Okay, there was Manti Te'o. Those guys, those were Charlie Weiss guys that were recruited in Notre Dame. They weren't Brian Kelly guys. So he did take Charlie Weiss guys to a national championship. And I hope Marcus Freeman takes Brian Kelly guys to a national championship. But I think that Brian Kelly left, he says because, he wanted something different, whatever. I think Brian Kelly left because he knew this roster was shit. The poor recruiting by the Dell Alexanders and his offensive line coach and his Polian, he had really bad coaches on his staff, especially when it came to recruiting. Notre Dame finally said to him, they finally stood up to him and said, "We built you a stadium. We built you a practice facility. We violated our traditions and put turf on the field. We put a video board on there. We caught a bunch of flack from the old timers," which I agree. Those were things that probably should have happened anyways. I don't blame those changes, but they did. We bought you private planes so you can fly around the country on your golf trips and send your assistant coaches out recruiting while you play golf. We did all that. And what have you done? You go on a national stage. You go into the big house. You get blown out. You go to Georgia. You get your ass kicked. Georgia comes here. They beat you. You go to play Clemson in a playoff. You get blown out. You get embarrassed by Alabama. You get every time we got the turnover chain game in Miami. This guy gets blown out. And every game that has ever mattered in his Notre Dame career, he's got one big win to his name, and that was Oklahoma. Yep. I don't count Clemson because Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing in that game. If that guy was, that game would have gone very different.
Well, yeah, and you know that because it happened. You know that because it happened a few weeks later. It's not even a question. It happened. You don't even have to wonder it. It happened.
I wasn't sitting in year 2, or just before the start of year 2. Brian Kelly's saying, he went 7-5. I was like, yeah, Charlie Weiss didn't leave him the greatest roster. Charlie Weiss left him a better roster than Tyrone Willingham left him, but he still didn't leave the greatest roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And by the way, where are we at right now? We got issues on the defensive side of the ball. We didn't have the greatest roster. We never had a quarterback that could play. I wasn't sitting there saying Brian Kelly sucks. He's not going to make it. I was saying, man, I like his defensive coordinator. I like Bob Diaco. I was high on Chuck Martin. I thought Chuck Martin was a great coach. Like, there was stuff happening. They got to it. They got Aaron Lynch. They got, there was buzz in recruiting. There was things happening. And I was excited about Brian Kelly, but he never did anything. It took me a good 6, 7, 8 years before I finally turned on the guy because I was tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over again. I went to that Florida State game in FSU and I watched us lose that game. I went to that Texas game. I went to the Clemson game in the Texas game where Brian Van Gorder let them score 57 freaking points or whatever it was. I was at the Clemson game in the Hurricane where he throws the ball 30 times. I was in the stadium that day. So I have seen this team in person all over the country. I was at this
dude. You picked the worst.
Got run over by Ohio State.
You picked the worst road games. Every road game that you go to ends in like total misery. Every time you make a road trip, it ends horrible.
After the Texas game, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is just embarrassing. I think the Fiesta Bowl game I went to I've been in these stadiums. I have seen this guy fail on massive stages. I have watched this guy. The only place I'd ever go is the Big House. I had tickets to that game when they got blown out at the Big House. And I told my brother, I said, I'm not going there because because I don't trust this team. I don't trust this guy. And if it goes bad in the Big House, they're coming at you hard. You can't just walk out of there. No, they're going to spit on you and throw shit at you as you try to get out of the Big House.
Yeah. Man, I don't know, Pat. So, all right, let's wrap this up here so you can get to work. What are you looking to see in the blue and gold game this week, other than a bunch of Miller Lights?
What? Say that again?
I said, what are you looking to see in the blue and gold game, other than a bunch of Miller Lights?
I'm hoping my wife doesn't get too drunk. That's kind of the first part. I just want to see things look organized. I don't want to see receivers running wrong routes. I don't want to see players getting screamed at because they don't know what they're doing. I just want what looks like a competent football team. I want sound tackling. I know it's a spring game, so they're not going to be out there popping people.
Yeah.
But I want sound tackling. I was so disappointed in tackling last few years. Honestly, since Freeman's gotten hired. So here you go, guys. Here's a criticism of Marcus Freeman. I have not been a fan of his defenses. His first year as defensive coordinator and last year, I've just not been a fan. He has not impressed me. I supported him to be the head coach for a different reason than his actual coaching ability. But I thought his coaching ability can improve. His recruiting and his work ethic are unique. You don't just find that in a guy. That's why I supported him. And Angela, I don't want you to get too drunk either. Actually, Angela, I do want you to get really drunk. I just want a team that looks organized. They look competent. They know what they're doing, and they tackle well.
Yeah.
Just for the love of God, tackle.
Do you have what's your interest level in seeing them open it up a little bit, letting them young wide receivers run and try and make some plays, see how these quarterbacks hit them, see if there's any rhythm, any connection? I hope to see some of that.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be perfect. Just show me you're working on it.
No, you know what? No, I hear what you're saying. I have a memory. I remember years ago. I think it was like '94. My dad took me to Blue Gold game, and it was Ron Powlus. What year was Powlus a freshman? Was it '93 or '94? It might have been '92.
It might have even been, yeah,
'96 was his last. Yeah, something like that. Whatever Ron Powlus' freshman year was. That's when Lou would put him out there, and he would change his jersey, and he would let him go play for the blue and the white. And so I was sitting there. I remember, and he was Lou just had him throw bombs. Lou just would put Ron Powlus out there and have him launch a rocket up into the air, and somebody would just run underneath it. And I thought it cracked me up as a little kid. I thought, man, Cook is right. This guy's going to win every Heisman every year. Win the Heisman every year. This is amazing.
Bino did say that. God rest his soul. I miss Bino. Cook. That was a part of my youth listening to Bino.
He said Ron Powlus would win 2 Heisman.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like what the offense was going to be, because it was still an option team. But it was fun to watch, and it excited the crowd. So I wouldn't be surprised. I like it when they do something like that. But just at the end of the day, just look competent. I'm too old to care about the theatrics at this point.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I do think it's a really good opportunity. Maybe it applies more on defense. Mix and match your personnel. Throw different blends of groups out there at the linebackers. See how they react to live bullets flying around. Like I just want to see whatever we can see. It's no penalty. Try it out. Like, I'm not going to rip you if it isn't all perfectly smooth. Try things out. That's what the spring game's for. Get an idea who could do what.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what the spring game. Somebody put it in there earlier. Somebody said, "Why do we care about the spring game? It's just a glorified practice for the fan." I totally agree. Right, but you know what? Wait. But you practically agree with what it is, but logically and emotionally, I know you also completely understand why it's made a big deal. Because we all have an addiction and we all just want football, and then you see some and it's all you have, so that's what you go off of. It makes perfect sense to me. Right. No.
We're all addicted. We're 6 months away from the game, and I'm yelling in my basement about the team to all you people. It's because we all love this. Think about it.
John,
we're talking. Huh?
You're the definition of the guy who yells in his basement.
I literally am. But you know where I stop people, Pat? A lot of times people go, you're just a loudmouth in your mom's basement yelling. I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm in my own basement yelling, not my mom's.
Yeah, you own your basement.
Like, at least I admit I'm a basement dwelling yeller, but at least it's my own damn basement. Mom, the meatloaf! The meatloaf!
The meatloaf!
The meatloaf!
Oh, guys, remember we went to go remember when that came out? We went to go see it. That's how old we are.
Oh, I'm really old, man. I'm so old. I remember we went to see Borat when Borat first came out. We went to Borat.
Yeah.
That's how old I am. Very nice. God. All right, Pat, go back to work and let me talk to somebody else.
All right. Hey, yeah, okay. Hey, so real quick though, for Saturday, do you want to just coordinate it by time, or do you want to meet and then go in together?
Here's what I think I'm going to do. There is a handful of people that really want to be like in there right at the beginning or are bringing some things. So I'm thinking what we'll probably do is pick a time right off the toll road somewhere. We all meet in a store and then pull in there together, 4 or 5 cars in a row. And then we're all parked all in a row. And then we have all that space. Let me get with.
I come from the south. I come up 23 because my parents' lake house is 30 minutes south, so I'm going to be there. So I'm going to come up from the south.
Gotcha. All right, I will get in touch with the other people, and then that makes sense to me. Also, a lot of people are saying it isn't going to be that busy. You could have room to go in there, park a couple cars, and leave a few spots in between.
Yeah.
We're going to have options.
Yeah, the weather, although it's going to suck, is going to help us out. People are going to turn away from coming because of that. Do not tell Lauren it's going to be cold. She will not show up.
Let's just not say anything, and then we'll give her beer in the morning, and she'll warm up, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Once the first Miller Lite hits her lips, we're good.
Hey, my mom said, is Lauren going to be there? I really enjoyed drinking with her last time at the Stanford game. So she wants a redo of that.
Remember that?
Oh yeah. My mom's like, I had a great time drinking with Lauren during that game.
Go to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're ready.
Yeah. So your folks are coming?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're going to come. And so it should be fun. Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, my mom's excited to see you. I don't know what's wrong with her.
I tried to get my dad to go, and he's like, I don't want to see you and John argue all day.
I don't blame him. I don't blame your dad at all.
He's
man.
watching YouTube. Well, you're watching YouTube videos is enough.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. All right, Pat, get to work.
All right, talk to you later, buddy.
Later. All right, we're gonna change gears a little bit. And Ohio State had their spring game this weekend, and we have an overlap of somebody who likes our show, calls all the time, listens all the time, but from an Ohio State angle, but very reasonable and has good information. Let's bring him on and see what he makes of the Ohio State spring game of major interest to us. 937, happy Monday.
John, how's it going?
What's up?
Hey, John, how's it going?
Yeah,
I'm doing good. Hey, I thought I'd give you an update.
Please do.
Buckeyes here.
Yeah, I saw some of it, and then I saw some clips, and I saw some Twitter conversation about it. But I didn't sit there and watch it all and know all the guys and whatever. Let me know what you think.
Okay. Well, let me say the style was a little bit different. One of our Devin Brown, who is competing for the starting job at quarterback versus Kyle McCord, he either broke a finger or did something. He's out for 4 weeks. So they ended up doing a scarlet, which will be the offense, versus the gray, which was defense. So it was basically first team offense versus first team defense, and then second team offense versus second team defense, and they would rotate. The scoring definitely favored the defense and how they scored. So if you see that the Silver scored, well, if you get a 3 and out, you got 4 points. If you got a sack, you got several points. So
yeah, so unique, unique scoring format, and that's pretty common. I know Notre Dame does that a lot of times, and I'm like, wait, I don't even worry about that. I just look for good plays on both sides, you know.
Right. Exactly. I will say this, offensive line, as we've kind of heard throughout the year, does look to be a little bit of a struggle. That right tackle position is pretty much up for grabs. And so that kind of, in my opinion, it kind of showed in the spring game. I will say Kyle McCord, I thought he was kind of mixed on how he played. However, Marvin Harrison Jr. only played like 5 snaps, and then the other 2 starting receivers didn't even play. So it was very, it probably would look a little bit different in the regular game.
Yeah. So what did you get out there then? A bunch of young so was that just for health? They already know what those guys are. No need, like, protect them. Is that the only idea there? Okay. So then what did you get to see? A lot of Carnell tape. You get to see a lot of Carnell out there as a freshman. I love that.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Carnell Tate was out there quite a bit, and he caught the first touchdown pass of the day. And then there's another freshman that was out there. His name's Noah Rogers. He was a borderline 5-star guy, and he caught a touchdown pass. I would say between the two, I thought his was a little bit more impressive. But, it's a half a dozen or the other, right?
Yeah.
As far as the defensive line, I thought the defensive line was pretty strong. One guy that you guys would know of, Hero Canoe, he's a younger guy, but was highly recruited by both of us. And he actually looked pretty good. And then Sonny Styles. So we have also another unique connection is that you guys have Lorenzo, who's Sonny's older brother.
Yep.
And we have Sonny Styles. He plays safety. He looks like the real deal.
You're hurting us. You're hurting us. You're just turning that knife. You're turning that knife because I remember all those years. It was like, we're recruiting him, and we got his brother in our place, so we should have the inside angle on this one. And then it just didn't work out. But he was a name we all thought we got the inside track here. False.
Well, let me say this to make it a little easier on you. He's a Columbus native, and I think his dad played for Ohio State. So, but really quick, so he's a defensive guy, and he played against Georgia. He actually looked really good as a freshman. And I'm thinking that's what Lorenzo's maybe thinking is, hey, my brother's doing really good on the defensive side. I know how to play defense. It's in my family. It's in my blood. Maybe switch over to defense, and maybe I'm not going to make the money in the NFL playing offense. Maybe I need to switch over to defense. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe that's what he's thinking. And it's Sonny's looked really good. He looked good all spring. I would say.
Hey, are you looking at the screen right now? Are you look at the screen? It says this dude is a spy. Block his number. He's giving out false information for a schematic advantage. I don't trust him. That's hilarious, Mark. That's hilarious. Like, yeah, you sit here all this time and you're getting me off the track, man. You got me going in the wrong direction. You're sneaky. 937. How dare you try and trick us?
I wish.
Look at you.
If the coaches listen to me, then we're all in trouble.
Yeah. You're leading me down a wrong path on purpose, they're saying.
Yeah. Well, so I thought the spring game, all in all, I saw wins on both offense and wins on defense. So that's what I want to see. And I have no glaring, super warning signs on either side. I think it was a pretty even match.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. Like when you get through that, and then you think about what you saw, and then you start seeing the podcasters and the beat writers put out their stories. What were some of the main takeaways from you and what you saw in your media that does what I do? What were they saying?
So, yeah, the main takeaways were offensive line needs to improve, especially on the right side. And then quarterback play, I think it's still – so the idea was, well, if the other guy broke his hands, then it's pretty much Kyle McCord's for the taking.
Yeah.
But I think most everybody kind of came away where he played just kind of okay. And, I think the battle is still going to go on through the fall. And then as far as the defense, I think most people, especially looking at the ones, were very pleased with the defense. However, they didn't really go up against number one receivers.
Yeah. So, so it's hard to get like an apples to apples. Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Yep.
Yeah. It just all depends who you're watching, because I'm scrolling Twitter and I saw all the Michigan people say, oh, this is the beginning of the end. Ohio State's going down the crapper. You know, they're struggling. And it's just like one play that doesn't work in a spring scrimmage. And they're like, look at this. They're going downhill. We got them now.
I think J.J. McCarthy threw a few picks in his game, and our quarterback didn't throw any. So I think I would remind him of that. But one thing that's a really big deal today, and I don't know if you've talked about it, I've been kind of busy at work here, is that today is the first day of the transfer portal opening.
Yep.
And I'm interested in your opinion on how Notre Dame's spring game kind of sets up a week after that happens, if that affects the roster in a different way. Like maybe now, people that would have maybe gone into the portal after spring aren't going to do it because it's going to be full, or maybe the guys that they're looking at to maybe grab because of the spring game and the evaluations that they're going to be like. What's your thoughts? It seems like to me it might not be the best timing to do it, your spring game next week, but what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, trust me, I would have preferred it this week too, when it was 83 degrees and sunny, not 33 and snow, and I would have preferred it last week too. I don't know what's going to happen there. I have heard, don't be surprised if there's more names like coming or going or whatever. I also don't know how much of that has to do with what happens in spring, where these guys feel that they fall in spring. Before you called, a lot of people were saying, there's an angle out there where people are going, Freeman is getting up in the media and saying it's an open QB competition and it's too close to name, even though he really wants it to be Hartman. But he's saying that to keep Buckner engaged, to think he has a job so he doesn't leave right away and leave figuring I'm not winning this job. I'm not going to play. I'm out of here now. So a lot of people are saying that's even a strategy to string this along so that Buckner doesn't go, well, I'm not going to be the starter. I'm out of here. So I don't know. I don't know where that all falls or if that's even legitimate or not, but I've heard it as a theory.
Yeah, I would say this. There's no way Buckner leaves. I think that would be foolish thinking for him to leave in a year or two. Even if Hartman beats him out this year, next year he's going to have a great situation. The schedule's going to be a lot easier.
That's a good point.
He could actually end up looking like roses next year compared to Hartman if a couple of things don't fall into place. So I think he at this point, maybe last year at the end of last year, but now after you've been through a spring, you got to stay there. I mean, especially when you see last year your backup got tons of time because of injury.
Yeah,
like there's going to be plenty of smaller games where he's going to get in the second half. And he might even look more impressive than Hartman, and keep the feet to the fire, so to speak. I'm not saying he would overtake him in the season, but man, you got to stay at this point.
Yeah, and listen, man, the guy's a competitor, and he's had nothing but bad luck and bad timing since late high school. COVID, lost a year. ACL, lost a year. Sitting behind Cone, lost a year. Then it was going to be his time, and he fell down the stairs and lost that battle. And then he last spring, and then he got the job this year and had the injury. He has had nothing but bad timing and bad luck. And I'd love to see a change for him because he's a respectful young guy, and all he does is compete. He's a guy we've all wanted to succeed. It's been like forever. And it's frustrating. His whole thing is just frustration.
One last point, and I'll let you get to your other callers. I know that there's a lot of talk about the quarterbacks and how they're looking. And I would remind everybody this is that, Ohio State's kind of going through this too. We both have new offensive coordinators, and they might have been on the team before, but especially Notre Dame hiring him kind of late in the process, they're slightly behind the eight ball. And I wouldn't be surprised, by fall that all those weaknesses that people are talking about with Hartman and with Buckner looking better, I think all that stuff will be, water under the bridge by that point.
Yeah.
You got to also, these coordinators, I think that's a big part of this is that the coordinators getting off to a late start. In spring, they're just trying to get their feet underneath them. And I think Hartman by the end of this will be the guy. But if I'm Buckner, I'm sticking around.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I don't know, man. It's going to be really interesting, but I like having somebody like you who's fair and reasonable to come with looking at it from both sides. So thanks for the call, man. Give me a call after Notre Dame's practice game and let me know what you think.
Okay, I will do. Thank you so much, sir.
Have a good week, man. Thanks for filling me in on that. I appreciate it. Even if you're a spy. What in the hell is this? What is this? Drunk. That's the only reason Johnny has a show, because he lives on the conspiracy edge. I can't watch but a couple minutes of the show. Come in here to argue. What are you talking about? I have no idea I have genuinely no idea what you're referencing at all. I have no idea what you're talking about in the past at all. What I do here is look at a situation and go over all the possibilities of what they could be. Is that a conspiracy theorist? I look at the situation and the information in front of us, and I go, logically, based off this, it could be 1, 2, or 3 options. Which is it? I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. When things went bad with Ludwig, I said, there's only a few things it could be. It either A happened, B happened, or C happened. Logically, nothing else could have. That's not a conspiracy. That is logically thinking through where we're at and how we got there. Give me, if you're going to say this, name the conspiracy. Name one. You gotta. I live on the conspiracy edge. Yeah, it was a conspiracy when I said Kelly didn't recruit and wasn't trying. And then everybody said, yeah, that's probably where my conspiratorial started. When I started saying the last handful of years, Kelly's not even trying to recruit hard. We're never going to win anything doing it this way. And then I was told that I wasn't appreciating Kelly and I wasn't respecting all that he's done, and he's doing as good as he can. And this is as good as it gets at Notre Dame. Kelly goes to LSU, and then all the beat writers take the cork out of their mouth and start saying what really happened, talking about Kelly not being willing to go recruit. But I'm the conspiracy theorist. I'm the one who had it right the whole time. Took everybody else a year to catch up or to have the balls to say it public. Made me very upset when those beat guys that are in that building all the time didn't say anything. And then right after Kelly leaves on their podcast, they're going, you guys really don't know how bad it was with recruiting and how little he was willing to do. That all came out after, but I was called a conspiracy theorist, wasn't respecting Kelly, not appreciative, all of that. Give me a break. Now, what I try and do is, when I have something confrontational, is give you multiple options of what it could be and then tell you what I think it is. But I give you multiple options. With Ludwig, there are multiple options how it went wrong and whose fault it was. And we covered all of them. And they all make us look bad in different ways. Pick a path. Pick a path. Unbelievable. Let's see. Here's a theory. Let's see. Here's a theory, John. Tyler Buckner just wants to play quarterback at Notre Dame. Wow. You know what, Michael? We might just be done here. You're making arguments. You don't even know how to spell the guy's name. Like, I can't really take you that seriously. You're going to come at me on my show. You're going to come at me and you're going to have these accusations. You don't even spell the guy's name right. Is it Charlie Weiss with 2 S's for you as well? Is it Brian Kelly, K-E-L-L-E at the end of it? Like, if you're going to accuse me of this, you got to be on your shit. And I can't let you not even know how to spell the guy's name you're advocating for and come at me at the same time. I can't let you do that. I can't. Let's see. I don't figure I'll watch film and come to a clear conclusion. Well, me neither. Everett Colson. Now everybody's putting in all the misspellings. Everett Colson, Tommy Reese's Pieces, Brendan Winbush, Winbush, sounds like it's a prize. Brandon Winbush, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Oh, man, it's funny. The Green Wave, what is that referring to? Marshall, are they the Green Wave? I don't know. Oh, my God. Anyways, man, the conspiracy theory, here's the problem with that. Here's the problem. Yeah, dude, I'm getting real desperate. I sit here and talk about Notre Dame in the morning for fun. Do I seem that desperate? Like, this is hilarious. This is what I love doing. I love this stuff. This is hilarious. Oh, my God. I'm getting desperate. I'm moving into grammar. But I'm just saying, honestly, come on, man. If you're going to come at me with a tough accusation, it's kind of a bad look. If you want to look like you know what you're talking about from your end and not know how to spell the guy's name, come on, man. Kennedy Minchie. I'm Kennedy Mincy. I like that one. Use my name. I like that. Conspiracy theories. I don't know. I try and look at situations, go over all the range of possibilities, then logically give you the one I think it is based off what I know and feel and have seen and have heard and read. That's all I do. So whatever. If you want to talk about conspiracy theories, here's what we're going to do. We'll do a whole nother stream about the Kennedy assassination. We will investigate the CIA's connection to it, as well as their connection to the Chicago outfit and Sam Giancana. We'll look at how this all weaves and connects into the Kennedy assassination, which, by the way, is very interesting to me since my name's John Kennedy. Okay, let's keep it in the family. All right, we'll pull up the Zapruder film. We'll look at the multiple bullet shooter theory. We'll do all that. We'll do all that. Oh my God. I'm telling you, today is fantastic. I love this. I love this. Talking about you, John. What a kid. Yeah, John was involved in the Kennedy assassination. How old do you think I was? How old do you think I am? It's like 20 years before I was born. How is it my fault? Oh my God. John, I heard UFOs landed on Soldier Field in South Bend. Listen. Wait, Michael says, John, you spend way too much time bitching. Are you kidding me? If you ain't complaining about something, it means you're not paying close enough attention. There's always something to be mad at. You just got to pay attention enough to be able to alert yourself to it. Oh my God. You spend more time on the negative part first. I admit, I used to do that with Kelly because there was a lot of negativity, justified negativity. I admit, Michael, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that. You spend more time on the negative part first. When it was Kelly, I really did because it was all negative and behind the scenes was negative and there was nothing being done to change any of it. The recruiting was half-assed, like nothing was changing in the front and behind the scenes. Nothing was changing. That is where I turned negative on Kelly because there was no light at the end of the tunnel. Practically, the results were what they were, really good, and then can't get over the ultimate hump. But behind the scenes, nothing was changing that would allow different results to be possible. That is the point where I said, I'm done with this guy. We're spinning our wheels. We're going to get the same thing every year. And we did. The biggest games, we got embarrassed, period. So I did that. And then on Freeman, I just appreciate his work ethic and the way he operates. And so I am more positive towards that because I believe in the way he's trying to build it. But that doesn't mean that if he deserves a complaint, I'm not going to give it to him. But I believe in the way he's setting this stuff up. I do. I believe in the way he's setting it up. Mikey Poles, I have terrible news for you on this, Mikey. You guys, this is so interesting. Hot take. Notre Dame should go back to a grass field. I was told that could never happen again at Notre Dame, and that is all over. And the reason is they redid the stadium with the renovations and the crossroads and everything. The groundsmen have told me they would not even be able to grow the grass because of the sun cycles and the shading from the crossroads renovation. They have told me they wouldn't even be able to grow good grass. So that's totally over. Totally over. Over. So I've asked that before too. And they said once they did the renovation, it's over. They can't get the sun shade ratio that they want now, and they could never do it. So I think that might be all dead, all gone. All gone. The sun cycle grass sounds like another conspiracy. I'm just telling you what the grounds guy told me. He said, John, don't even ask because it's not even possible they could grow it anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. Are you trying? Yes, I'm trying to say the earth is flat because yes, because I'm saying that the grass can't grow. That means I'm saying the earth is flat. You know why? Because when I walk outside, I don't see a curve. I saw an advertisement on Twitter. I saw, look at Dr. John. I don't know why this is so funny to me. I'm just picturing them just growing a bunch of weed plants. Instead of the flowers there, the mums in the first row, you just got some really good hybrid, OG Kush just growing right there in the front. That's hilarious. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Oh my God. I'm telling you, I'm losing my mind. But there was we're off the rails today. This is exciting. I like this. There was this group on Twitter, Flat Earth Society. So they're all the people who believe the earth is flat. And they were responding to somebody arguing about something. And they were like, we have the biggest organization who believes in what we do in around the whole globe. And I'm like, around the globe? I thought you just said the earth was flat, but you just said around the globe. And a globe is a circle. Anyways, I don't know about the flat earthers. I can't help you. Oh my God, this is hilarious today. I don't know why, but we got off this last half hour is off the rails. It's actually pretty funny. Oh man. John, nobody gives a blank about spelling. I'm literally talking into the mic. You're talking in the mic? I can't hear you. What are you talking about? You're talking into a mic. You got a friend named Mike? Because I can't hear you. Or do you mean you're talking and it's typing what you're talking and it's their fault on the spelling? Oh, God. I'm telling you. Look at this, Dr. John. I'm not surprised by this. Don't mess with the mom's bed on the ND side near the south end zone. Some of my parents' ashes are in there. I like hearing that, John. My ashes are going there too. I have a specific spot. And the people that need to know. And when I eventually stroke out on the air, they're going to burn me. And then those that I trust have instructions of where to put me. But I want to be there forever. I got a spot. Some of you might be able to guess it. I'm not telling you where it is because I don't want to cause that sort of issue. But when I stroke out on the air, burn me, and I want me put there. So the people know where. You'll know where. Oh, boy. All right. That's going to be it for today. This was a good 2-hour show. We covered a lot of ground. John's a conspiracy theorist. The earth is flat. I think we covered it all. Here's the deal. It's game week. So we're going to do something Wednesday. We're going to do something Friday. And we're going to have preview episodes throughout the week as well. Okay. So tune in for that and let me know what's up. Let me know what's up. What is this? Simple-minded people focusing on spelling. You know what the message is, and that's all that matters. You talking about one letter. You said the only reason I have a show is because I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to allow you to say that and then not give me examples. That is perfectly fair. And like one line, I'm not letting you cross. So I went at you about it, and I'll do it again. If you're going to call me a conspiracy theorist, tell me how. If you want, I'll keep the show going. 312-900-8815. Call me. Call me. 312-900-8815. Tell me all the conspiracy. Tell me the Notre Dame conspiracies and that they're all wrong. And that nothing I said had any validity. Waiting. Still waiting. I'm still waiting. I don't see any calls. I don't see any calls. Call me a conspiracy guy. Got to give me a reason. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Come on! I wanted that call. Fine. No, Pat, I'm not taking your call again. This is going to turn into 2 more hours. I'm not doing it, Pat. We're not doing it. I have stuff to do it. If I bring you on, you're going to talk for another hour. Oh, man. What is this? Oh, God. All right, fine. We can all agree to just get along. I'll see you all Wednesday. Thanks for being here. What a wild Monday. I love this show. This is a good one. Have a good one, everybody. You guys are great. All of you. Even the trolls. I appreciate you. I love every minute of all this. Have a good day.